Good morning, Billerica. It is so lovely to be with you. What lovely faces I get to look out upon this beautiful October morning. Today, I will be introducing, uplifting, and amplifying the work of the amazing activist and faith leader, Valarie Kaur. She has written an incredible manifesto and memoir of revolutionary love entitled See No Stranger. I will be reading a short excerpt from this today, as well as sharing some prayers. She comes from the Sikh tradition. We'll learn a little bit about that as well. Our opening words today come to us from Valarie, and they are entitled, See No Stranger, I See No Enemy. I have forgotten my envy of others since I found my sacred company. I see no enemy. I see no stranger. All of us belong to each other. What the divine does, I accept as good. I have received this wisdom from the holy. The one pervades all. Gazing upon the one, beholding the one, Nanak blossoms forth in happiness. Let us light our chalice. Our chalice lighting words come to us today from Cindy Terlazzo. Amidst the swirl of life's challenges, fears, and even moments of crisis, I make time to gaze at the night sky to see the vastness there, and to remember that this moment in time is but a flicker, not an inconsequential flicker, for what I do and think now does matter. My work, though, is to let the debris of this world pass by while I anchor myself to what I know is true. Love, kindness, compassion, and caring for this precious life, this precious planet, and all that calls this place home. This is my North Star. With love as my guide, how can I possibly go wrong? At this time, my friends, we will say our affirmation of faith. It is found in your order of service. Please join me loudly and with enthusiasm. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and its service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, and to end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. Thank you, friends. Please be seated. If you are a child, this time is for you. If you are all grown up now, I invite you to allow your inner child to come out for a little story. I'm going to share with you a book called The Knowing. It is written by Ani DeFranco. There may be a few Ani DeFranco fans in the audience. Hear, hear, yes, I have truly found my people. I am a huge fan of Ani DeFranco, not only her music, but her philosophy and her approach to art and life and existence. She has been my queer lodestar for quite some time now. And this amazing children's book was written, and it was partly inspired by See No Stranger. When I come back next month and do part 2 of this sermon series, I will be sharing a song called Revolutionary Love by Ani DeFranco, and I might sing for you. I won't do a good job of it, but A for effort. So this book is by Ani DeFranco, and it is painted by Julia Matthew, and it is extremely beautiful. I do hope that the camera can get this so folks can see. I have a name, and my name has a story. I have a look, a sound, a smell, a shape, a size. Ooh. I have a color to my hair, my skin, and my eyes. But this is not all of who I am. Underneath this is something more. All of these things are just what's showing. Underneath all that I know is the knowing. I have a favorite blanket. It's a little torn. I have a family and a place where I was born. I have a favorite food and a favorite song. I have a favorite game, depending on my mood. But this is not all of who I am. Underneath this is something more. All of these things are just what's showing. Underneath all that I know is the knowing. I have a life that I am here to live. I have gifts that I am here to give. I have friends, and with my friends I have fun. I have a love of the wind and of the sun. Yes, I can take heart in what's showing, knowing it's all a part of the knowing. Yes, I can take part in what's showing, knowing we're all a part of the knowing. I have beliefs, and someday those beliefs might change. I have blocks that I like to arrange and rearrange. These are things that I am told and things that I learn. There are skills I've practiced and praise I've earned. But this is not all of who I am. Underneath this is something more. All of these things are just what's showing. Underneath all that I know is the knowing. The end. Now let us sing out, or rather, we'll sing our inner child back to our hearts. You want to just do it a cappella?
Sure.
All right, guys, you know the words, right?
Yes.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Thank you. That went rather well, I think. Now is the time in our service where we do our uniquely Unitarian Universalist tradition of candles of joy and concern. For we know that when we share our burdens, our sorrows are lessened, and when we share our joys, they are amplified. We also know deep within our hearts that this is a way to build our beloved community, and I encourage you all to share as freely as you can. At this time, we will do a responsive reading. The response is, we speak the language of love. It is in your order of service. I'll do one of these. Okay. This comes to us from one of my favorite modern theologians and Unitarian Universalist ministers, Erica Hewitt. It is entitled, We Speak the Language of Love. We arrive from many different experiences and backgrounds. Some of us have trouble speaking. Others are so young that they're still learning to talk. Some of us speak English as a second language, and others of us can speak several foreign languages. All of us share this in common. We speak the language of love. In the moments before worship begins, and again when we return to the service of life, we greet one another with kind words. We chat about the days behind us and the days to come, and we speak the language of love. We lift our voices in song, not to sing perfectly or in tune, but to hear our voices form a life-giving sound, and we speak the language of love. We form a web of compassionate listening when individuals among us, embodying vulnerability, name the fears that grip their hearts, the joys that buoy their spirits. We speak the language of love. At times, our voices clash. We disagree. Tension enters our voices as we make room for different beliefs, different opinions, different perspectives. Through it all, it is our intention that we speak the language of love. In this congregation, we welcome a multiplicity of truths and invite them to be named out loud. We prophesy, summoning the age when justice and peace will be evident all around us, and we speak the language of love. Let us worship together, making room for one another as whole beings, tender hearts, hungry spirits, and curious minds. With our actions and with our words, let us speak the language of love. Thank you, my friends. That was wonderful. We will now have a piano interlude. Thank you so much, Liz. It's a special treat for me to have a live accompanist at my church. We are in between musicians, so this is such a treat. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let us be in an attitude of prayer. Visamad naid visamad vied. Wondrous is sound, wondrous is ancient wisdom, the song of hope. Wondrous is sound, wondrous is ancient wisdom. Wondrous are the creatures, wondrous are their varieties. Wondrous are the forms, wondrous are the colors. Wondrous are the beings who wander around unclothed. Wondrous is the wind, wondrous is the water. Wondrous is the fire which works wonders. Wondrous is the earth, wondrous the source of creation. Wondrous are the tastes we seek and seize. Wondrous is union. Wondrous is separation. Wondrous is hunger. Wondrous is satisfaction. Wondrous is divine praise. Wondrous is divine adoration. Wondrous is in the wilderness. Wondrous is the right path. Wondrous is closeness. Wondrous is distance. Wondrous to face the divine, ever present now. Beholding these wonders, I am wonderstruck. O Nanak, those who understand this are blessed. I will now read to you Joyful Union, also known as the 4 Shabads. This is also a Sikh prayer. In the first circle, we come to everyday life as two together. We embrace right action, letting go of our faults. We seek to remember the true divine name. We revere and adore the true teacher who sees us whole, our faults dissolved. Simple, spontaneous joy. What luck! The taste of the divine is sweet. Nanak, the servant, says, this is the first circle. The marriage has begun. In the second circle, the divine reveals the true guru, wondrous person. In fearlessness, our self-clinging melts away. Awed by the presence, we sing praise to the one without stain. Every being, every space, inside, outside, filled with grace. The community bursts into songs of joy. Nanak, the servant, says, this is the second circle, where the boundless sound resounds. In the third circle, we find freedom of the mind. Joined in devotion, we sing with our friends. How fortunate we are. We discover what's pure. We sing what we are. We speak the true word. Such good fortune. Joined in humble devotion, we tell the untellable story of the divine. The name, the true name vibrates, music in the heart, the calling written on our foreheads. Nanak, the servant, says, this is the third circle. When the mind is free, divinity flows naturally. In the fourth circle, the mind is simple. We meet without effort. Wherever we look, there is the guru. Mind and body are sweet. The divine is sweet. We're meditating day and night. All desires are fulfilled. The name resounds. Hearts bloom as bride and groom merge in the timeless one. Nanak, the servant, says, this is the fourth circle. It is done. Before we move on to our next hymn, I would like to encourage you to look up audio of these prayers being said in Punjab. It is unbelievably beautiful. I don't do it justice in English, that's for sure. As I mentioned earlier, I will be uplifting and amplifying Valarie Kaur's words. She says it better than I could. Before I get into it, let me explain a little bit about what I'm about to share with you. Back in 2016, way back, you may remember that was a bit of a rough year. Valarie Kaur delivered this address at the AME church with Reverend James Forbes, Imam Talib al-Rashid, and Reverend William Barber III, who many of you may be familiar with. Here it is. She begins it with a prayer. I will try not to butcher it too badly. I've practiced quite a bit, but I still don't think I'm getting it quite right. Wegaru ji ka kalisa, wegaru je ka fita. The beloved community belongs to divine oneness, and so does it all that it achieves. On Christmas Eve, 103 years ago, my grandfather waited in a dark and dank cell. He sailed by steamship across the Pacific Ocean from India to America, leaving behind colonial rule. But when he landed on American shores, immigration officials saw his dark-skinned, his tall turban worn as a part of his Sikh faith, and saw him not as a brother, but as foreign, as suspect, threw him behind bars where he languished for months until a single man, a white man, a lawyer named Henry Marshall, filed a writ of habeas corpus that released him on Christmas Eve, 1913. My grandfather, Kehar Singh, became a farmer, free to practice the heart of his Sikh faith, love, and oneness. So when his Japanese-American neighbors were rounded up and taken to their own detention camps in the deserts of America, he went out to see them when no one else would. He looked after their farms until they returned home. He refused to stand down. In the aftermath of September 11th, when hate and violence exploded in these United States, a man that I called Uncle was murdered. I tried to stand up. I became a lawyer like the man who freed my grandfather, and I joined a generation of activists fighting detentions and deportation, surveillance and special registration, hate crimes and racial profiling. And after 15 years, with every film, with every lawsuit, with every campaign, I thought we were making a nation safer for the next generation. And then my son was born. On Christmas Eve, I watched him ceremoniously put the milk and cookies by the fire for Santa Claus. And after he went to sleep, I then drank the milk and ate the cookies. I wanted him to wake up and see them gone in the morning. I wanted him to believe in a world that was magical. But I am leaving my son a world that is more dangerous than the one I was given. We are raising a brown boy in America, a brown boy who may someday wear a turban as part of his faith. And in America today, we enter an era of enormous rage, as white nationalists hail this moment as their great awakening, as hate acts against Sikhs and our Muslim and Jewish brothers and sisters are at an all-time high. I know there will be moments, whether on the streets or in the schoolyards, where my son will be seen as foreign, as suspect, as a terrorist. Just as black bodies are seen as criminal, brown bodies are still seen as illegal. Trans bodies are still seen as immoral. Indigenous bodies are still seen as savage. The bodies of women and girls are seen as someone else's property. And when we see these bodies not as brothers and sisters, then it becomes easier to bully them, to rape them, to allow policies that neglect them, that incarcerate them, that kill them. Yes, Rabbi, the future is dark. On this New Year's Eve, this watch night, I close my eyes and I see the darkness of my grandfather's cell. I can feel the spirit of ever-rising optimism in the Sikh tradition, Kardi Akala, ever-rising high spirits within him. So the mother in me asks, what if? What if this darkness is not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb? What if our America is not dead, but a country waiting to be born? What if the story of America is one long labor? What if all our grandfathers and grandmothers are standing behind us now? Those who survived occupation and genocide, slavery and Jim Crow, detentions and political assault. What if they are whispering in our ears, "You are brave"? What if this is our nation's greatest transition? What does the midwife tell us to do? Breathe, and then push. Because if we don't push, we'll die. If we don't push, our nation will die. Tonight, we will breathe. Tomorrow, we will labor in love, through love, and your revolutionary love is the magic we will show our children. The beloved community belongs to divine oneness, and so does all that it achieves. Amazing, right? I literally could not have done better myself. So that speech, that prayer that Valarie Kaur offered to all of us, that metaphor of the midwife telling us to breathe and push, that inspired her to write this book. And it is both a memoir and a manifesto. It is her real life experiences, but it's also prescriptive. There's things we can do. We are not unmoored at sea. We are anchored to one another. We Unitarian Universalists know that love is the answer. We recently had Article 2 where we decided as a denomination to place love at the center. Building community, loving one another for who we are, for our whole selves, is not uniquely Unitarian Universalist. The greatest social reformers in history did not only resist oppressors, they held up a vision of what the world ought to be. Nanak sang it. Muhammad led it. Jesus taught it. Buddha envisioned it. King dreamed it. Dorothy Day labored for it. Mandela lived it. Gandhi died for it. Grace Lee Boggs fought for it for 7 decades. They called for us not only to unseat bad actors, but to reimagine the institutions of power that ordered the world. Reimagine the institutions of power. It is not enough to resist, my friends. We must reimagine. We have precious few days before our next presidential election. I think we all understand the gravity of the choice facing us. I have immense hope that those of us who believe in freedom will not rest until it comes. I believe that we Unitarian Universalists are uniquely positioned to lead the charge for a better world, for a safer world, one where we can all be ourselves and we can be together. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Our benediction today comes to us from Valarie Kaur. She speaks of her grandfather and the lifetime practice that she holds. After Papa G died, I thought that he left me without teaching me the secret to his bravery. Then I realized his final lesson was the way that he died. If I wanted to live and die as bravely as he did, I had to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Think of today as an entire lifetime, wise woman says to me before I fall asleep. What was the hardest part in this lifetime? Notice where you sense that hardship in your body. Now, how did you get through it? We somehow managed to make it to the end of this day, the end of this lifetime. What was the most joyful part of this lifetime? Every day and every lifetime, no matter how hard, contains moments of joy. Notice what made it joyful. Sense what joy feels like in your body. What are you most grateful for in this lifetime? Every day and every lifetime offers a new reason for gratitude. Sense that gratitude in your body. Now, are you ready to let go of this lifetime? Are you ready to think of the work you've done today and know that it is enough? Are you ready to behold everyone and everything you have ever loved, kiss them, and let them go? Are you ready to die a kind of death? Each night I die a kind of death. Each morning I wake to the gift of a new lifetime. In between, I labor in love. It is enough. Live long and prosper. Peace and long life. Our service has ended, but our service to the world is just beginning. Thank you, my friends. Go now in peace.